So now we're going to look at what equity is. So it's responding to each child and their needs. It's understanding each child, having a connection with them and noticing and identifying what their needs are and working out the best way to meet those needs. It's being flexible and adaptable. So if you'd planned something and it isn't working, then think of a different way that you could keep going with the same content, but in a way that's actually going to reach the children rather than just going, oh, that didn't work, I'll just give up. It's about allowing a child to have additional resources, support, time to work on a task to help them or to help them engage. So if a child needs a fidget toy, then allowing them to have that. If a child needs a little bit extra time to get something finished, then allowing them to have that. And also if a child needs additional resources such as additional educators or funding, whatever it might be, then really investigating every opportunity to make that happen so that it's about the child and it's about making sure that we're supporting them the best way that we can. Equity is about having a toolbox of ideas and resources available to draw from. So that's where it comes down to, if something isn't working, what else can I do? And if you don't have a whole toolbox inside of your mind of what else you could do, how else you could do this, different ways you could implement things, outside the box thinking, collaborative working with all of the peers in your service, then you're just going to throw in the towel and go, well, that was a failure of a group time. But if you've got alternatives lined up and you've got suggestions coming from other educators on why don't we try this, whatever, then you can keep going and you're not going to lose the children's interest and you can still get the same outcome that you wanted, just in a different way. Equity is about open-ended activities that all children can engage with. So by having open-ended activities, as we'll discuss later, you don't limit the children who are at a different level, because each child can engage with them, but they might be using them in a different way. But it doesn't mean that they can't engage with them and they have to go and play somewhere else. It just means that different children might be learning different skills with the same activities. It's about lots of reflection and teamwork. So trying to work out how your service is going to be equitable, how it's going to work. Are you making sure that each child has a voice and is included in the program? If they're not, then how are you going to modify the program? Doing research and seeing what other services do, attending webinars like this one and training, discussing it as a team and pulling on each other's resources. Quite often in services you've got multiple staff and you've got decades worth of experience in there. I'm sure if you pulled all of that together, then you could come up with solutions and think of different ways to do things and build on that toolbox. It's about taking time to build a relationship with children to help you understand their needs. So if you don't have a relationship with a child and you're constantly just getting through the day, going through the routine processes, and the only engagement that you really have with children during the day is asking them to do things, just talking to them at group times, those sorts of things, then you don't really get to know the child. They're just one of the group. And that's where the fairness and equity comes in, because you get to know them as an individual and you get to see the signs of when they need a little bit more support and how you can support them, what actually is going on within them and how they can achieve the best outcome that they can, rather than just using that herd mentality of we're all doing this now. And it's about being aware of personal biases and challenging them. So we need to understand what's going inside of us so that we can help children understand what's going on inside of them and connecting with their world. So if we think that we are perfectly equitable and we've got no biases at all, we're not discriminatory at all, and we're completely fair and even, when we really reflect on it, we might find that and it might not be because of anything, it might just be because of the way you were brought up, the culture you were raised in. We might find that we are ignorant towards ways of some different cultures in our community. We might find that we're not completely open to same-sex marriage. Whatever it might be, they're our personal biases. And if we challenge them, then it allows us to feel more comfortable having those conversations with children and discussing things with them openly and honestly and factually in ways that allows them to feel more inclusive and develop